Hello and welcome to today's reading for the Lunar Eclipse, and it's also the 4th of July if you're in the US, and you may hear some explosions in the background actually. So they're not too loud, but it is what it is. Yeah, so there's a lunar eclipse, which means the moon, of course, is in Capricorn, and then with the sun in Cancer, there's definitely a theme around family, familial feelings. Of course, it may not be like, or on some level it may be your biological family, but there's healing there to be done. Just in essentially, like, what it really boils down to, though, is coming home to yourself and finding true comfort and home in yourself, and that you don't need anyone to satisfy that with you. But of course, like, we're meant, like, we're created to have relationships, so it's from this place of peace that you can really have those relationships. So if you find yourself, if you have found yourself, or you do find yourself, especially I guess with COVID too, still kind of, a thing, right? If you find yourself, feeling more like in a state of solitude and going deeper with that, it's not really like about, it's not about being alone or lonely, but it's just about finding that place where you can have a real relationship with yourself and truly love yourself, so that the relationships that you already have and the relationships that you're developing or will develop, especially your union with your twin flame, really like are from a balanced place. Like, you've already balanced yourself out within that place, so it'd be very difficult and basically impossible without you making the choice for that to be thrown off balance once you've really like balanced that out within. Of course, you'll be tested, and it doesn't mean you won't scream and yell sometimes, or maybe it does if you're a more docile person and calm all the time. I'll admit, I sometimes scream and yell. That's I shook the table. Yeah, so that's it's something to feel into, and just don't be afraid of your emotions, of your feelings. And we're just gonna see through the cards what's in store, really. So we'll just go with that. We'll roll with it. But yeah, there's a lot of intense energy, and it's safe to go through that, and it's safe to be met with your next step. And going through this actually really should bring some relief on the other side, and bring you into some kind of like deeper awareness, and perhaps into a next step that you have to complete or fulfill to move forward, but that you're really supported and relaxing into. So just feel into that. So I have 3 Angel Tarot cards here originally by Doreen Virtue. You may know she's left the scene. But yeah, it's a whole nother story. And then I have 3 Moonology cards to celebrate the lunar eclipse. Yay! Underneath, so like a little layered cake here, And then I have 1 crystal angel card in the middle that's really gonna, I think, help clarify the reading, bring it into a cohesive close. So stick around so that you get to feel the whole reading and take away your personal next steps too. So we'll go ahead and start with the Divine Masculine today. I've got some nice labradorite, and we'll just take a look at that for a minute. Okay. All right. I mean, I could do this for a full minute, but I'm not going to right now. Also, the Herkimer Diamonds. Yep. I've been like pulling out this bad boy a lot lately. I really like it. Yeah. Okay. It's not a real diamond, by the way. I mean, that is just what it's with the crystal. There might be another name for this crystal, but that's the way that I know it. But it's a very, very good block clear, and I find it like just it's so perfect for the energy around the eclipse. Like it really the vibration of it just, you know, I always feel that. So yeah, let that stuff go, you know, let the fear and anything that's trying to talk to you that's not love-based, it's not anything you have to accept into your reality. Of course, you may need to do something about it, like set a boundary or whatever, but you always first want to find your peace. So anyways, let's finally get to the card. And we have Queen of Air, independent. I'm gonna move this candle. Ooh, it's hot. Jeez, I guess I lit it a little while ago. Dang. Oof, man, it's some hot energy going on here. I guess that's what it is, you know, the eclipse really like burns stuff up. It really takes you there. So Queen of Air, independent, experienced, realistic, and witty, objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in a situation. So this is a really nice opportunity for the Divine Masculine to go more deeply into kind of how we were talking about relationships a minute ago. Just like into himself and really clear out codependent patterns. So that feels really good, and be able to just see himself and like his trajectory like more clearly, and not be so hard on himself, you know. It says seeing the humor in a situation. So yeah, it can also speak to any experiences that are going on between him and any relationships in his life as well, including family. So if that's you, you know, you can just feel into that. And there is something about like looking into that ball of like, you know, what it is you have going on, and just seeing the bigger picture, and really doing things, you know, not without emotion, but it's just like you've healed enough to, like it says, clear away what no longer serves you. And that's definitely a theme of this eclipse too. So Queen of Air, very cool. We'll just go through to this card. Oh, it's so funny. I just pulled this card for the Divine Masculine, like, what, yesterday? The day before? A new start is coming, new moon. So, I mean, if you didn't hear it the first time, hear it again. A new start is coming for the Divine Masculine. It's on its way. But yeah, it's not like, oh, it'll get here eventually. That's not the way to look at it. I think the way to look at it is really like you're clearing away as the Divine Masculine what's not serving you, and you're truly putting in that effort for that new start to fully, you know, I guess manifest is a good way of putting it in your reality. So, you know, like you're tilling the soil, getting it ready. Good job, you know, you give yourself a pat on the back for that. And see if there's somewhere where you do desire to do that and you're not yet. And we'll bring the candle back in a little bit. Okay, I don't know, I'm just looking at it. It's nice to look at. But anyways, yeah, it's safe to go all into this new start, even though it looks like a new moon. It's like, what is here? It's safe to just go all in, because you know that in your heart of hearts it feels good and right. So you can just trust that and move forward, and not like cling on to stuff that doesn't feel good. It's not comforting to do that, right? Just like ego might try to tell you so, but we all know from one experience or another, or perhaps many, that it is not. So yeah, safe to let that go, so you can really embrace and move forward with what it is you truly desire. And of course, this speaks to your twin flame union as well, and going deeper with that and harmonizing. Beautiful. So we're going to move on to the Divine Feminine now. Buckle your seatbelts. Okay. The end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Recovering from an addiction. So yeah, this really speaks to going deeper with claiming your power as the divine feminine. And this can, the claiming your power thing can definitely speak to the divine masculine too. There's just something going on, I feel, within collective consciousness about just going much more deeply into trusting yourself, but also like finding the little girl within and just reclaiming her. And that really does, it allows you to let go of a lot of addictive energy around any negative patterns you've developed from any kind of abuse or choices that you may have made in the past. Whatever it is, it's all okay, right? It's like this sense of, it is this sense of relief. It's this sense of relaxing into who you are without needing to like defend who you are so much, and or needing to defend it at all. The truth does not need defense. Of course, respecting yourself, standing up for yourself, those things are important. But it's safe to like take a deep breath and to feel into that relief and give yourself that full feeling of relief now. Don't hold back, don't wait for the thing to happen that needs to happen before you'll give yourself love there and relief. That's actually how you prevent it from happening. That's, the law of attraction is your thoughts become things, right? And along with that comes the mirror exercise and just loving yourself in those places that are calling very deeply for love. So with the end of this difficult situation, you may also be experiencing some upheaval, which is like the dead stuff leaving. And so sometimes it doesn't feel so good on the way out. It doesn't look so good, whatever, but it's not charged. It's like just literally leaving your consciousness. So if you have an upset, it's usually pretty clear because it, like in upset states, it's upsetting you. Whereas upheaval just feels like oftentimes like heaviness leaving something. If you really truly in your, deepest heart of hearts and everything choose to release it, it should just like kind of clear itself out. You might experience some upheaval, like, it's like spiritual detox. So you might experience symptoms, but you can also choose to let that be easier too. And at the same time, be compassionate with yourself. Like if you have healed through a lot, then you're going to upheave those patterns, and that's going to, require some extra TLC for yourself. But always know that on the other side of that, like there is true greatness, and you will be able to attract so much more love and abundance in that place where you were holding on to whatever it is that you're not anymore. So it is worth it to just allow this process to fully happen and to not try to accept what wants to leave back into your life. I mean, accept's not really the right word. It's like you kind of have to cling to it because it's like, the divine is going to make sure it leaves. It's not rocket science. It's just like, let it out, let it go. Like, the Frozen song. Let that stuff go. So let's move on to the moon card. Well, I think that, just perfect. What do you need to release? Waning mood. Yeah, moon. I think I said mood. Well, maybe there's a reason I said mood. So, just like feel into your mood and feel into those emotions and know that you're safe to have your moods. Like maybe there was at some point in your life, perhaps childhood, a time where you were, shut down, like told you weren't allowed to feel your feelings, to be moody. And sometimes, like, if you're a more, I guess the word's mature, I don't know, like, just, you know, all kids are aware, but like if you in the moment, let's say, are kind of having a more adult moment as a kid, if you know what I'm saying, and you're truly expressing yourself, you know, like you're feeling confident, but you're also like not in a good mood. And if someone's ever shut you down while you have been attempting to work through your bad mood and claim your respect, but you know, you didn't feel like you could, then that kind of cycle that needs to happen within you to like fully heal and respect yourself and to claim yourself can be a little bit hard on in some way, but not in truth. So it's safe to like release that hardness, that like that feeling of you can't, you know, it's not true, it's a lie. And even though you don't want to believe it, there is like this kind of benefit to it, because then you don't have to fully release it and feel good, which you think, yeah, I want to feel good, what do you mean? But yeah, I mean, that's just ego for you. It's just classic ego, like trying to give you reasons why feeling good would be a bad idea. So it's not true. Yeah, and if there's anything else there too, like, you know, into that place as you feel into it, just feel into what else you need to release. And of course, this may also just speak to stuff in your environment too, like in your home environment and a routine, or just like yeah, like letting go of stagnant energy that's holding you back from doing stuff. And that actually might be a really good way to feel through your moods and feelings, is to kind of do it as you go. And you know, take your time, meditate, be gentle with yourself, but don't be afraid of the energy that you have to like go forward and, you know, create stuff or whatever it is at that time. And it will help you just kind of like naturally release what is not serving you. And this is going to really help the foundation of your union feel really just nice and pristine. So, speaking of union, let's move on to the middle card. I like how this spins, that's cool. Oh, little flowers in the way. Okay, so first card is upside down and it's balance. So we need to balance ourselves. This is what this is saying. So you need to balance yourself. The need for balance and moderation. Cooperation and compromise wait for perfect timing. So yeah, that speaks also to earlier when I was saying just about how like there's a next step being provided for you. I got a little hiccup there. So there's a next step being provided for you, but you do need to just like let it happen by balancing yourself. You don't need to try to like force something, you know, force the next step. This just isn't really the time for that. I mean, it's never time to force anything, but yeah, like it's just about, you know, being humble yet being powerful, and being loving and also being disciplined, and you know, these kinds of things that you're like really going deeper with, being able to fully embrace as you do go into that place in your consciousness and your heart where balance already exists. You're gonna feel much more like capable of just, I guess, of healthy adulting, and of going deeper into harmonizing your twin flame union, because you've established that balance within yourself. And I like how this picture, it's like the water appears to almost like be going back and forth and like up and down at the same time. It's kind of like you really strike this balance within yourself where you can ride the wave. You can do the thing that looks almost impossible. Like you really reach that mastery by striking this balance. And balance, you know how it says, is moderation, cooperation, compromise. And it's not about waiting or just like not, oh, there's an explosion, or not doing anything. But it's not about like holding back. It's just about like truly finding that balance. Like sometimes you feel really energized one minute and you know, you do the thing, but then if you were to keep doing the thing, you know it's gonna kind of start to feel bad. Well, it's safe to go deeper with like fine-tuning that and just do, like, utilize your energy to the point where it does feel good, and then notice where you're being invited by your feelings, you know, by the divine ultimately, to then perhaps do something else, to pursue something else in your consciousness, whatever it may be. Like, it's safe to surrender to that like divine flow. So you're just like letting life flow, you know, within you, and going with the flow. You don't need to go against the flow. That doesn't mean like, you know, you need to accept something that doesn't feel good, but just there's a difference there between really choosing what's the most peaceful and cowering, you know, because you don't actually want to do the thing that is peaceful, because sometimes peace does require effort, but the effort is actually like effortless, because it would feel bad in truth to do otherwise. So yeah, it's just like it should be pretty easy, like as what this card is telling me, but it is something that you want to actually pay attention to and be conscious of. And then we have the answers you need are coming. Well, why aren't they here yet? Okay, full moon in Gemini. I guess they're coming in the next card. I don't know why this feels like kind of trolly to me right now, or if I'm just like cranky because I think I need to eat dinner. I'm not like, I mean, I'm happy to be doing this reading. I really am, but you know what I'm saying? If you ever get hangry, right? Yeah. So the answers you need are coming. It's just, I think though that it actually really does speak to going back to that, like the next step is really like manifesting for you. So if there's something where you're just like kind of, you're not quite sure like what is your next step in this place, but you're working on it, you're present with it, you know, you're present, you're loving this, whatever this is gonna be. That's all you really need to do. It's already on its way. So yeah, and remember, you can relax into what it is you're being called to do. So having some kind of next step for you it's a good thing. Whatever, if it, you know, it's a little more responsibility, or it's something you have to kind of complete before you can receive the thing. And it may be something you need to work through to completely clear the pattern, in your consciousness as well. So we'll move on to the last card now. And the last card, I was afraid that I was going to get this card. I mean, afraid is kind of like a funny word to use, but it's like, well, this is like kind of the one card in the deck that's like the Joker or something. So, titanium rainbow quartz. There are many layers and dimensions to the situation or person you're asking about. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not really like, I don't know, afraid. It's kind of silly to say that. But what this is really saying, it is a little trolly, but it's really God like loving you and just saying, again, it goes back to the answers you need are coming. I mean, it's actually very clear what's being communicated here. And I could pull another card to like go deeper, but I actually think this is right where you need to be right now. Is just like balancing yourself out and feeling into what's already in front of you. And I think the word here is actually like appreciation. So you may find yourself kind of really desiring the next thing and the next step, but there's stuff right in front of you to do and to appreciate, and perhaps like some smaller, you could say, steps that you're being really guided to take. So just take the things that are right in front of you and know like that the bigger questions that you have are being answered. And yeah, they may be like something that's more rich, you know? It's not about being complicated and unsolvable. So it's not an unsolved, well, maybe it's like unsolved as of now to you, but like not in truth, right? It's not an unsolvable mystery. It's just, this is also a very Mercury retrograde card, and I'm kind of feeling into how I'm communicating right now, and I'm like, wow, this is the way I'm kind of putting words together and everything really speaks to that. It's also about going deeper with communication and just like taking it layer by layer, like being peaceful with what's in front of you and enjoying your own self, like fully loving these layers of yourself just because, not because they're going to give you something, right? Like, oh, if I heal this block, then my twin flame is going to do the dishes tonight or whatever. Like, you know, that's not how it works, right? Of course, like if you're really having an upset, it doesn't mean don't voice that and respect yourself if you're like the one, for instance, doing all the dishes. But like, then you have to see both sides, right? But yeah, it's just about doing the spiritual work without attempting to like peek behind the curtain and see like what the reward is that you're gonna get for doing it, and just trust and like, oh, just like love yourself. I don't know, like just this image and the titanium rainbow quartz, it just really speaks to that. And rainbow, I mean, it's about loving your full self for who you are, and that does include your twin flame. The divine masculine and the divine feminine, you know, are forming the union, right? So it's just it's loving all of the parts of your reality, and in turn also loving the core of your reality, and not just because you can, just because you're created to love, and letting that be enough. That's what's going on there. So that feels really good, and it feels like a great next step for you to go into, to dive into, and know that you're being supported with, like, let's say a surfboard to really balance out and to surf those waves. And you do have the skills that you need to do that in your own way. So yeah, you're good. Happy surfing, and enjoy the eclipse and the 4th. Fireworks perhaps, yeah, if you're in the US. And I will see you very soon. Love you. Take care. Bye.